The interim order that wasn't fully implemented, I believe the Speaker was playing politics. He has left his duty to preside over Parliament impartially, and he has become a player on the NDC side, which I believe it wasn't good for our democracy. Now, the Supreme Court has now
exactly
made
had the Speaker done? I just want you to clarify. What exactly has it done?
I don't have time. Let me finish. Now that the Supreme Court have spoken, as I said, I don't know the reasoning. But remember, I think last week I mentioned something. When you look at the statutes of the International Court of Justice, it says something that is very, very interesting. My friend, you may have a look at it, or you're already familiar with it. Among the sources of law that the International Court of Justice would use when resolving disputes, the third source is very, very interesting. The third source is that it says general principles of law recognized by civilized nations. And among the principles of law that is stated is res judicata. And we have it in our system. In every, res judicata says that in every jurisdiction, there's always a particular body that will have the last say. They have the last say. It doesn't mean they are right or wrong. Supreme Court in the past has been wrong. It's not just the Ghana Supreme Court. The UK Supreme Court has been repeatedly wrong. They've always had the opportunity to correct themselves. A good example where they had it wrong was Pepper versus Hart in the UK, where they said that a court should not look at hindsight when resolving disputes. And later they realized that they were wrong all along because so many countries have moved towards a purposive approach. And if we don't deploy hindsight, then we may be judging things wrong using the literal approach. The approach that you were insisting we should use, Randy, the core meaning of words, the UK Supreme Court said they depart from it. But nevertheless, so res judicata applies in our system. And the res judicata says that the court will have the last say. They have had the last say. There's no need to go back, say, oh, how do we now implement it? They have the last say means that the Speaker should implement it in the national interest. My advice to him is just tell the NDCs, you remain a minority. After all, the power was stolen. Now the Supreme Court have corrected it, that it wasn't the Speaker's power in the first place to make pronouncement on it. I don't know the interpretation that they put on the 6th to remain, but I believe they would have moved forward to resolve it. From your report, I believe they have resolved it as well. Otherwise, just deciding on who has the right to decide will not be enough because there were a series of questions asked.
Can I find out from you?
Yes.
Can the court, currently constituted, compel Parliament to sit?
Let me come. No, I don't believe constitutionally they will also be going outside their remit.
So,
but what I'm saying is
I just want you to clarify.
Yes.
I want you to clarify.
Okay. But you have now become.
I just want you. I just want you to clarify.
Okay.
The court constituted now. Can it ask Parliament to sit tomorrow or tomorrow next?
Okay. I don't believe so because of the principle of separation of powers.
Perfect. Two.
We expect
not that Parliament.
No, I'm not going to be answering your question.
I just want clarity.
You had the opportunity to talk to the
country.
Let me speak to my fellow.
No, I want you to clarify something.
They will have the decision to decide.
Counsel.
Yes.
Just clarify this.
I've just clarified one.
No, the next one. The next one.
One is enough.
No, Ishaq, the next one.
The last one.
Yeah, very last
Thank you.
one. So. The Speaker is on record
Yes.
to have adjourned proceedings indefinitely.
Okay. Which is very unfortunate.
So,
very, very unfortunate.
So he cannot adjourn proceedings indefinitely.
Yes.
Is that your case?
Let me explain something, Randy. When I said there is separation of powers and where we bury from, an organ of government as in Parliament, it is not the decision of the Speaker. It's why we say an organ. Decisions of the Parliament is decision based on voting. We have to get this thing very, very clarified. Otherwise, we are confusing people. You see, when a decision of Parliament, like in the UK, when they say Parliament, they mean the Queen in Parliament. The Queen in Parliament means that both houses, both House of Lords and House of Commons have voted on it. Then the Queen signed. That's what we mean by Queens in Parliament. Parliamentary supremacy is like that. Not Speaker merely giving
but
whether
have parliamentary
information.
supremacy.
Let me count. Merely giving information or declaratory. I call it a ruling, regardless of whatever name placed on it. The effect is what I look at. So in that instance, the Speaker of Parliament for the national interest need to implement it on the spirit of the ruling. And yes, they might not be able, I agree separation of powers means that the court should not be able to compel the whole parliament should meet. But I believe the Speaker of Parliament has to remember that he draws his power from the Constitution. I believe he suffered from democratic deficit. As Article 1 says, power emanates from the people. He did not get it directly from the people. He got some of his legitimacy from the delegates of the people, not directly.
He got all his legitimacy.
No, I mean,
all.
What I'm saying is that, but not directly, it's an indirect one. So if an indirect one...
So what would you say about the Supreme Court judges?
Yes, so
how did they get to sit
they also suffer from democratic legitimacy. But then their legitimacy comes from their reasoning. So the Speaker's legitimacy is drawn from the Constitution itself that created the office. And I want him to use that as a basis to work in the national interest. It doesn't matter. So this is where a political solution might come in. So a political solution would ask, what would be in the best interest of Ghana at this moment? Now that Supreme Court...
So you agree that the political solution is the way out?
No, look, I am a believer who always believes that, like I was mentioning to you other day, I don't want to be mentioning because of those people are our brothers and sisters. Our utterances can affect them. It's not every decision that, even if there's a legal solution, it is not every solution that the court should settle final and final. Especially when it comes to Parliament. But the Speaker now have the opportunity to act in the national interest. And the national interest will not be to lock Parliament,
12,
to lock government.
Today is 12 November.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. We wish ourselves the very best.
Just 30 days on it. You see,
yes.
I am happy that we are beginning to appreciate that the way forward is a political one than a judicial intervention. I say this in the sense that, you see, where it appears that a certain intervention is to achieve a particular outcome. And if you watch the last proceedings, the legislative, the Chief Justice made a point about there being a crisis. And that as we speak, Parliament is not even sitting. You remember?
Yes.
Now the key question then was this suit really mounted to ensure that Parliament sits or gets recalled? And that's why I asked you those questions.
Yes.
So today we are a judgment of the court had come 5-2. Would there be a specific order in the judgment that Parliament should be recalled? Can that be done? So it tells you that, and I have always maintained that I expected the Afenyo-Markin to have handled this matter.
Have you listened to him?
No, please wait.
He has tried several times to speak to the Speaker.
I expected him.
Two chiefs.
I expected him to have handled this matter a bit more differently.
Yes.
You don't come out and insult, attack the integrity of the Speaker, among others, and behind the scene you call chiefs to go and talk to him. Look, I mean,
so the Speaker is taking it as a personal matter between him and Afenyo-Markin.
No, so the
the
attack from Afenyo-Markin, what is it? Is it collective?
No, I don't even know the attack you're talking about.
Is it a collective attack on his person?
So the Speaker is playing on his personal ego.
No, it's not. No, it's not an issue of personal ego. The last sitting, when the Speaker was in chambers, where were your members?
Listen, what happened in the beginning?
Where were your members?
I don't know where they were.
When I go to court, Randy, no, hold on, Randy. When I go to court, the judges will say by 9, be in court. And in fact, it is on the face of the motion paper. Now, when I come at 10, and the judge has struck out my application, what I do is to apply to relists. I'll apply to have the motion released. And there's a process you have to go through. Now the judge comes to sit. I don't come at 10. I don't come at 10:10. 10:20. Later I come maybe at 10:30, 11. They say that the person who came and was waiting for me is doing NDC politics. Is that complimentary? Is that how you compliment the effort of the speaker? So I strongly believe that we could have handled this matter with a bit more of maturity. And this whole notion that at all costs I must sit in at the, what do we call it, as the majority leader. In fact, I've read a message. I thought it was fake news, where the lawyer Afenyo Makin is saying that spiritually he's not supposed. In fact, he says 3 months into and I want to just so I am fair to him.
Randy, you see the problem with our politics.
Randy,
sometimes we don't even represent the other side at all.
Randy, I beg you, so that I am not accused of misrepresenting.
Afenyo Makin have said, at least tell Ghanaians what the explanation you offered. And then tell us
Randy,
why.
Let me just read so that I'm not accused of misrepresenting him.
Okay.
I should go and sit on the minority seats.
Yes.
Spiritually, it is not even good.
Yes.
We have 3 weeks to election. I should go and sit on minority. Is that my seat? I won't do it. I will never do it. That is not my, oh God, my rightful place. I should go to the minority side and spiritually make myself a minority and bind my colleague. No, they won't do that. No entity will do that. No, this is graphic online.
Listen, don't worry. I heard him directly. I can tell you what he said.
I didn't know that he said spiritually.
Man, he didn't say this.
No, I don't know whether he said it, but I heard him, the version that I heard, that had been played on Joy several times. He says that, look at the beginning of the Parliament. There was a scandal in Parliament. And from what he has heard from his members, if he takes them...
But what you're saying is different from this.
Yes,
they are two separate. They are two separate
he should also represent. I know he has heard it.
He has heard what you are saying.
There's likely to be
He has heard what you are saying.
Yes.
And you have also heard what he's saying.
Yes.
But you choose to ignore what he's saying. And he chooses to ignore what you're saying.
Now. For me, what I heard him say is that if he takes them to Parliament, there's likely to be a fight.
Let's go. The Supreme Court.
And they want another opportunity for them to sit on their laps as well.
The Supreme Court has
Nobody is going to